Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaskara, and sorry to keep you waiting so long to begin this evening. As we meet here this evening in the coffee hinterland of India, this promises to provide an invigorating and transformative experience for all of us. We have just a few weeks ago launched 10X International School in Mysuru. 10X International School Mysore offers locational advantage, best in quality facilities, and the IB curriculum. As situated as it is, at just a 2-hour distance from Kodagu, 10X International School is one that is rooted deeply in Mysore's proud legacy of learning, leadership, and cultural excellence. And these are qualities that Kodagu too has, ingrained in its very DNA. Is it a surprise to you that we wish to make this unique educational institution one of choice to Kodagu? Let's look at why 10X International is an imperative for Kodagu. This region, replete with forests, water bodies, and resilient and industrious people, is the largest coffee-producing district in the country. Pepper, also known in ancient times as black gold, and cardamom and oranges from Kodagu, as we all know, are very well known for their quality. This makes Kodagu a significant contributor to India's economy. That's not all. It would be stating the obvious to enumerate Kodagu's legendary bravehearts and sportspersons. Field Marshal K.M. Cariappa and B.P. Govinda, former captain of the Indian hockey team, are just two of these luminaries. It is with pride that we salute them and reiterate that it is only innovative and dynamic education that's been tailored for rapid changes, be it in agriculture or industry, which is an absolute imperative for Kodagu to sustain and grow its potential. Ladies and gentlemen, let us join hands in this very important task. It is my pleasure to now introduce 10X International School and its parent organization, the Indus Trust, to you all. 10X is a proud product of the Indus Trust. For over 2 decades, Indus has established itself as a trailblazer in the K-12 education sector, beginning with its flagship school in Bangalore, and since it has expanded to Hyderabad, Pune, and Belgavi. Driven by the singular vision of transforming education, the school has proudly held the #1 ranking nationally for an incredible 13 consecutive years. This legacy of innovation and excellence that Indus has continues with the 10X International School, which is first launched in Bangalore, and now it's finding its new home in the heritage city of Mysore. The vision of 10X is to nurture academic excellence, to uphold social equity, to drive relentless innovation, and to inspire true nation building. We at 10X International are committed to creating an environment where students don't just learn, but they also lead, create, and transform the world around them. Welcome to 10X International School Mysuru. This is where the future begins, and it is where the future belongs to every child. The Indus Trust would not stand at the forefront of K-12 education without the vision and leadership of its founding trustees. I take pleasure in introducing them. Dr. Kumar Malavalli, who is the founder of Brocade Communications and a global pioneer in the storage networking industry. It is his sense of belonging and vision that have been central to the birth of 10X International School Mysuru. Mr. H.B. Jairaj, Chairman of the HRB Group, Professor Shivram Malavalli, who has been instrumental in building Mysuru's vibrant startup and entrepreneurship ecosystem, Mr. Sushil Mantri, Chairman and Managing Director of Mantri Developers. The pioneering journey of the Indus Trust in transforming K-12 education has been driven by the visionary leadership of its Managing Director and CEO, Lieutenant General Arjun Ray, PVSM, VSM, a soldier scholar whose foresight, courage, and audacity of purpose have redefined education through bold innovation and a fearless commitment to change. It is only fitting that at this point now we hear from the leader at the helm of 10X International School, Mysuru. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Chirag Jhala, Principal of 10X International School, Mysuru. Dr. Jhala is equipped with a PhD in physics from Germany and a career that bridges the worlds of cutting-edge research and transformative school leadership. He merges research expertise with a passion of reimagining education by merging the 10X concept, life entrepreneurship, STEAM-H integration, and purpose-driven learning. His career has spanned scientific research, school leadership, and global IB roles. Dr. Jhala has built strong teams, driven innovation, and led accreditation processes. His leadership, marked by his holistic development, adaptability, and collaborative growth, is expected to inspire an ecosystem of continuous learning and innovation. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Jhala on stage.
Am I audible, everyone? Thank you. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for being here. Thank you for coming today. So, for me, it is the very first time that I am in this part of the country, Coorg, or Kodagu for that, the real name. It's got a legacy that can't be matched. You got warriors, you got champions, and you got thinkers. So the leadership is in your DNA. And I'm not surprised that the Kodagu people cannot be content because there is so much to do and there is so much to achieve. So the thing is, when you got such a great legacy, you also need a bold future and a bold vision. And then the challenge is this. We have the DNA of leaders right here who can achieve unimaginable. But are we preparing our children for the unimaginable? That's the question. It's been more than 200 years, the education system hasn't changed. Maybe the class have become smart classrooms just because there is a TV in front of the class instead of a whiteboard. But is that the education? Is that what we try to impart on to the children? The answer is no. We are still preparing students for that age-old bureaucratic colonial mindset. We are preparing clerks. And that's not what we are aiming to achieve. So the world that we are living in, I'm sure you have witnessed it quite often. Since last 3-4 years, every Wednesday a conflict arises and by Saturday it subsides. And in this 4 days, the entire stock market has gone down the roof. It's shattered. And Monday it's back. So we know the world, the new world order, it's just not kind of now fighting with sheer courage. You have to be smart. You have to be visionary. So the new warrior has to be a critical thinker. The new warrior has to be innovator because you have to ensure that the nation is not at the receiving end of our actions. So how do we train our children for this kind of world? So in the military parlance, we call it as the VUCA world, a world which is volatile, world which is uncertain, world which is complex, and a world that is ambiguous. You can't make out what the next move is going to be. And in this kind of world, where we don't know what the future holds for our children, are we preparing for that? What kind of education is required? Any answer to that? Do we need a qualification? Do we need a qualification in a subject? Should I be a PhD? Should I be an engineer? The answer is no. The child has to be a critical thinker. That's the only currency that's going to work in the future. So we have to develop critical thinking ability in our students, in our children. Then only they can thrive in this VUCA world. So how can this be done? That's the question. So I wanted to show you something here. It's an ordinary bag that a student carries every day, right? And what does it hold? Books. What else? Stationery. What do you learn out of it? What do you learn from this? It puts burden, right? It hurts your back. and I guess it's nothing less than 6 kilograms. So are we the laborers who carry weight load to the school? The answer is no. So what is special about this bag? That's my question to you. So let me show you what this bag holds. Now, what we just witnessed is quite interesting. If we can slightly go back, if you can pause the video right there, where we have all the items displayed. A few more frames, please. There we go. Okay, so there is nothing that we have seen so far in a school bag, right? So I'll start with something simplest that every child loves. That's a VR headset, MetaQuest 2, where you guys put it on and play games, right? Be it just war games, martial arts, football, you name it, you have the games. So with this VR headset, we have more than 150 simulations, experiments, which you actually perform it just through this particular headset. So even before you come to the class, and I know you guys hate lectures, right? So you can actually learn by doing things. Now, if there is something which is tricky, which is dangerous, where you need teacher supervision, you can first do it your hand at home, and then you come prepared to the school, right? So that way you can go ahead of the class. You can be well prepared for the class. So that's the VR headset. Now right below this, there is a drone that can fly up to 500 meters. It's got an amazing camera through which you can scan the entire area. And that's not it. This drone is programmable. So with the sensors given over here, you can program it. So for example, we are at a certain elevation less than 1,000 meters. If I want to measure the air quality index here, I'll have an air quality sensor right there. I'll program it, I'll put it on the drone, I'll fly it over here. I'll go to Polybeta, I'll repeat it. I'll go to Madikeri, I'll repeat it. So I'll go to different districts and I'll check the air quality. I got a database. Now I can actually do an analysis, present a paper. Now, which school does that? That's the question. This thing is amazing. It's just 1.7 kilograms, and this is a 3D printer. So you can actually design, you can make a prototype right there and then. And it works with a simple mobile phone charger. You don't need a large power supply. And then this pen next to it is a 3D pen. So let's say you are a designer, you got an amazing idea. So before you execute it, you need to make a prototype, right? So with a 3D pen, you can make a prototype, rough sketch, that's what we call it. And when it's ready, you can actually build the actual design with this 3D printer. And all this comes in a bag, right? And then, for all the traditional parents, I will not let you know, you won't be sad. There is a space to keep notebooks, right? So you are happy. You have a lab, we call it as the Inno Lab. It's an innovation lab. So you are no longer dependent on your school. You don't have to be in the school. If you are at home, if you are in the sports ground, you have the bag with you. So for example, if you are playing and if let's say suddenly your elbow guard breaks, you can make one right there. So that way you learn things by doing, and that's what makes it easier to understand. So now when we give you this kit, what's the advantage? One, you have become completely location agnostic, right? You are not relying on the teacher, you are not relying on the school, you are not relying on where you are. All you rely on is your thinking, your mindset. And with this and with proper training, this is what the students become.
Built on the pillars of social equity, innovation, and nation building, the school aspires to shape better human beings while leveraging technology and creativity for the greater good. STEAM Edge philosophy emphasizes cultivating interdisciplinary thinking in students to equip them for the demands of the 21st century by leveraging cutting-edge 21st century technologies such as virtual reality, 3D printers, drones, and robot teachers.
So what you just witnessed is actually not a setup, it's not a demo, these are real students who are working independently. And the most interesting part, did you see a teacher anywhere in this video? There is no teacher. So the goal is to create self-directed learners in the world that is for them to come. There are not going to be teachers at all. There are going to be mentors. Mentors will guide you when you need the guidance, but besides that, you have to work on your own. So there are teachers to mentor you, not to teach you. That's the difference. So this is how the school 10X delivers not the education, but a future to the child. Because in the future, there are not going to be standard degrees. Even today, companies have people without any formal education. In the coming years, you won't need education, you will need skills. And that's what we are developing today, which no school develops. I'll go back to my first statement. We are not developing clerks for the bureaucracy. We are developing thinkers, we are developing innovators, we are developing nation builders. Like, I'm 45 and I have heard for the last 20 years that India is a developing country. I'm tired of this statement. India has to be a developed country by now, right? And how will that happen? When we give the right kind of education to our students. So this is our aim, this is our passion, that's our vision, to make sure children are capable of making this country a developed nation. So with this, I'll come to the 4 objectives of our school. The very first objective is excellence. Now, India has a very peculiar definition of excellence. If you are a doctor, you are an engineer, you have excelled in life, right? So academic excellence is something that we focus on. What about life excellence? So how do you measure your success? It's through your life, not just through your education. So our first objective is excellence in life. That is, whatever you do, be it games, be it academics, be it business, be it anything, you have to be excellent. And that's the name 10X. You are 10 times different than rest of the people. You develop these competencies, and that's why you are different. That is 10X. You are excellent at what you do. The second one is life entrepreneurship. Our generation is going to hit up to 85, 90. And when we retire, we don't know what are we going to do. The coming generation, that is the children who are in the age group of around, let's say 15, 16, they are going to live at least up to 100 years. What are they going to do when they retire? So every 20 years, the profession changes. Are they ready to make that shift? No. So life entrepreneurship, that talks about how do you scale your life at every point, at every, let's say, crucible moment, which is going to bring a drastic change. How do you have a startup? How do you design a product? All these are part of the life entrepreneurship program. So that is our second objective. Third one is equity. Now, what do we mean by equity? That's the question. Is it same as equality? No. I have a school in Bangalore and I have a school in Mysuru. Do I get the same quality teachers in Mysuru as well? The question is no. People don't want to come to Mysuru because it's a small city, right? So although I have the same school, it is not equity, it's not equitable. The quality is not at par with the metro. So this is what we mean by equity. Now we are making a lot of efforts to ensure that the faculty that we get is at the same level. So we are hiring only those who have excelled in life. And what does that mean? People who are either PhDs, people who are MTech, people who have worked in the industry. So they have hands-on experience. They are not just bookish people. So that is equity that we are trying to address. And the most painful point I'd like to bring to you, what is the cost of education nowadays? If you're looking at an IB school, it's on average 15 lakhs a year. How many can afford this? Barely 5%, 10% of the entire population of this nation? Is that equity? No. So we have cut down on the cost and we are offering the same program for merely 3 lakhs. And that includes the STEAM bag, which is costing us almost 75,000 rupees. That includes your examination fees, that is again almost 60,000 rupees. So it is not a business that we are running. It's a gratitude that our trustees have gained a lot from the place they came from. For example, Dr. Malwali and Professor Shivram Malwali. So they are the sons of Mysuru. City has given them a lot. But at that time, they did not have the opportunity. So they were blooming but quite late. And now they don't want this to happen with the city, the children in the city. So we have a school that takes away the burden of finance completely. So it's the same quality education. It's rather a much better, higher quality education, but at almost no cost. So our purpose is the child should succeed in life and they should not be at the receiving end just because they cannot afford the education. 15 lakhs, it's crazy. There are schools in Bangalore that charge 25 lakhs a year, right? That's not education. It's a business. So we are into the field of education and hence we believe a lot on equity. And the last one, the most important one, nation building. Right after high school or graduation, what do the young generation want to do? They want to leave, settle abroad. You see this quite often in Coorg as well, right? The younger generation moves out, they gain exposure outside, and very few come back. What happens to our culture? What happens to our nation? So in our team, we have people who have returned back home by choice, not by force. So in 2011, when I returned, I had 2 options. One, come back home or work as a professor at Caltech in California, California Institute of Technology. I chose to come back home. So we have people who are driven by this vision, nation first, family next. So for the generation to come, for the students now, it's very important that they value this country. See, you have so much of freedom in this place. You can be yourself, that you can't be anywhere else. So let's come back here and be part of the nation's growth. So that's the 4th objective, that is nation building. So through these 4 objectives, we are trying to get to a point where we have Nobel laureates, where we have Pulitzer Prize winners, where we have field medal winners. Now these are the medals that you are given for your contribution into the field of science or literature or maths. How many Nobel laureates we have produced so far from India? 1, 2, no. So people who go out, they excel. They have got Nobel prizes. People from India, they don't get anything. Why? Because there is no exposure. So that's what we are trying to bring in, the exposure, the skill, the quality. And that doesn't happen at the college level, it happens right here in the school. So that is how 10x is different. And to be a 10x student means you are 10 times different, not just 10 times better. So here, I'd like to close with a remark that education is not about what we teach. It's more about what we prepare the students for, and that is life. So if you prepare them for life, the problem is solved. But if you just prepare them for the next job, we haven't moved on. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Dr. Chirag. Not just you, after your talk, I want to go back to school. But I don't think that's possible for me, at least. You can still be in the school. It is now my honor to introduce a leader whose extraordinary journey from the battlefield to the classroom has redefined what it means to serve a nation. Lieutenant General Arjun Ray, PVSM, VSM, is a soldier scholar and the visionary force behind the Indus Trust. A decorated officer of the Indian Army, he is best known for his groundbreaking work in Ladakh, where he led Operation Sadbhavna. That was a mission of peace through education, women's empowerment, and community development. His leadership during the time transformed the role of the military from one of conflict to one of nation building. General Ray's most enduring legacy lies in education, which is his second calling. As the CEO and Managing Director of the Indus Trust, he has been instrumental in shaping one of India's finest networks of international schools. His over-the-horizon thinking has helped to reimagine learning for the 21st century. He has advocated innovation, equity, and leadership as core competencies of future-ready education. His contributions to the field of education have earned him numerous accolades. Most recently, he was honored with the C4 Lifetime Achievement Award 2024-25 for his outstanding contribution to education for next generation learners. Today, unfortunately, he couldn't travel and he's unable to be here with us at this event, but we do have a recording of his that we would like to play for you, a little message that he has for you all.
Today is not just an inauguration, like most inaugurations are. It marks the beginning of a visionary journey to redefine education for the 21st century by preparing children for a future we do not know. A future that cannot be predicted, a future full of unknown unknowns. To ignite student entrepreneurship, and I emphasize this, as a strategic investment in the student's future. The traditional view has been entrepreneurship after college. In my view, what merits reconsideration in this new world that has emerged and is becoming more and more volatile and chaotic and innovative, I would say entrepreneurship immediately after school. You got so many examples like Bill Gates, like Steve Jobs, like the CEO and MD of Oracle. So many people, I can keep on counting them, Branson, who are all college dropouts. And I think it makes a lot of sense. And thirdly is to advance the concept of nation building in the remarkable city of Mysuru.
Truly, the leaders of tomorrow have to be different and more, I think, empowered, really. Moving on to that time of the evening, where today we will introduce a revolutionary framework developed by the Indus Trust called the Collaborative Learning Model. That's the CLM. Central to this model is the Eagle, that's what you see on stage today, the world's first teacher robot, developed by the Eagle Robo Lab under the Indus Trust. At 10x, CLM isn't just a concept, it's a living reality, as some of you have already experienced earlier this evening. It redefines education as a three-way partnership. One that's between a teacher as a facilitator, the student as a self-driven learner, and AI as a responsive, real-time mentor to the student. It's where technology doesn't replace the teacher, but it enhances and personalizes the entire learning journey of the student. Let me introduce to you Mr. Prasiddhi Ravi, coordinator at 10x International School, Mysuru, who will take you through this revolutionary program and development. Can I have you on stage, Prasiddhi? Thanks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So today we are witnessing an increasing impact of artificial intelligence in our daily lives, whether it's professional or personal. There is an increasing interest globally about our artificial intelligence. And along with this interest, along with this impact, there is also a worry about how our relationship with artificial intelligence is going to be shaped and how it's going to change in the coming years. as artificial intelligence advances more and more. And that's only natural. There are worries about whether artificial intelligence is going to make jobs obsolete. Is it going to replace human beings in certain jobs? And this is not limited to any specific field. It spans across education, medicine, the corporate sector. This discussion, this discourse and worry is everywhere. So that's why we here at Indus Trust foresaw this kind of issue and this involvement and evolvement of artificial intelligence, and we founded something called the Eagle Robot Lab about 8 years ago under the Indus Trust, so that we could tackle this very issue in the field that we are in education. So we believe that human beings and artificial intelligence, they do not necessarily have to work alone. In fact, it is when they work together that best results are produced, and that's how we need to work with artificial intelligence. We collaborate with them. No one is going to replace the other person. And this is the mantra and underlying principle of the model that we did come up with. Human intelligence plus artificial intelligence is equal to innovative intelligence. So we are at our innovative best when we collaborate with AI. And there is a Harvard study on metastatic breast cancer research that also proves that when doctors worked individually and when artificial intelligence, medical robots worked individually, the results were not as successful as when the doctors and artificial intelligence collaborated together. So we developed this humanoid robot over here that we call Eagle, and we implement it very deliberately in what is known as the collaborative learning model in all our classrooms across our Indus schools, across 10x and as well as 10x Mysuru. So what exactly is the collaborative learning model? So it's basically a three-way partnership between the teacher, AI, the humanoid robot, and the student. So over here, we have the teacher who brings out elements like the concept and relevance in the classroom. She personalizes learning, provides socio-emotional support, and brings out real-world applications, ethical considerations, things that are essentially very human and would not really be possible to be brought out successfully or clearly through AI. And then we have AI over here, and there is no doubt that the vast knowledge that AI carries supersedes any knowledge that we have, right? And that's why we have AI delivering content. It's able to do multilingual delivery as well, and it automates assessments, conducts discussions and immersive experiences. So essentially what's happening here is the teacher's time is actually being freed up to focus a lot on this aspect over here, which is essentially what a teacher must be doing. And other aspects like automated assessments, content delivery, these are things that the robot takes care of. So over here, we're essentially enabling and empowering the teacher to do what he or she is actually meant to do in the classroom, teach the child and not just the subject alone. And then you have the student who over here is now in this scenario very empowered and enabled to take their own decisions because they're given background knowledge. There's a lot of self-directed learning, there's a lot of self and peer assessment. They have to do a lot of research on their own. So the student is essentially shifting from what we all have been in our school days, very passive learners sitting in the classroom just taking in information. But over here, the student is now taking responsibility for his or her own learning and actually playing a very active role in this whole scenario. So that's essentially what our collaborative learning model is about. And of course, we have developed this humanoid over here through a lot of iterations. We started right in 2018, and this is one of our latest versions. We have a version which is even more advanced than this, and it's currently under mass production. So this gives you just a brief of how we went. This is how we started in 2018, 2019. We experimented, iterated with different types of models, human faces, digital faces, and finally this is where we are at. So this has been developed and implemented in all our schools as well. And these are just a few of the features that this robot has. So there's voice recognition, there's voice command, it's AI enabled, ChatGPT enabled, there's reinforced machine learning. It's able to engage and gauge the sentiments of students in the classroom. So it goes beyond just content delivery. It's able to actually give that analysis and report to a teacher, so the teacher can then take the required action based on that. And of course, it integrates with our learning management system as well. So without further ado, let me just give you a short demo on how this robot works. So in what way can artificial intelligence impact and shape the future of education?
Artificial intelligence can positively influence the future of education by personalizing learning experiences, automating administrative tasks, providing feedback to students, assisting teachers in lesson planning, and enabling remote learning through virtual classrooms. It has the potential to enhance the quality of education by catering to individual student needs and fostering a more engaging and effective learning environment.
In such a scenario, how will the role of the teacher change?
The role of teachers is likely to evolve with the integration of artificial intelligence in education. Teachers may shift towards facilitators and mentors, focusing more on guiding students through personalized learning paths, interpreting AI-generated data to tailor teaching strategies, and fostering critical thinking and creativity in students. Additionally, teachers may collaborate more with AI systems to create optimized learning experiences that meet individual student needs.
So this is just a short example of how we can discuss and collaborate with this robot. So essentially in the classroom, what we do is we have a discussion with students. The robot listens to what we're saying, the humanoid robot. Then we ask it a few questions, and the more we discuss, the more it's able to understand what we're saying and give even more insightful answers. So it's a group discussion that we have along with the robot. Is there anyone here who's interested in asking anything? Does anyone want to interact with the humanoid? You feel free to do so. You can please come up here and we can ask any question that you want. A few of you have already interacted with the robot. All right then. Okay, so thank you very much. So we just wanted to showcase that this is one of the essential components of our pedagogy and teaching at Indus and 10x. And this is what any student who does come to 10x will get to experience. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. If you have any more questions in the future, feel free to ask. Have a great day.
Thank you, Prasiddhi. Thank you, Robot, Eagle. So if anyone wants to interact with the Eagle, maybe not now because the spotlight's on you, but after the evening, after the program, Prasiddhi can help you with that. And if you just want to, have more of an interaction and see how it works, Prasiddhi will be happy to help you with that on a one-on-one. So moving on, we were to have a very special guest and a speaker with us here this evening. But then again, he had to travel suddenly, so he has sent a special message for us this evening, which I will be reading out as is. But before that, I'd like to introduce him. Dr. Mania Panda Chengappa has a formidable profile, and I am proud to introduce him. He's a physician and a trustee at the RIHP Hospital, Amati, Kodagu. He's also the president of the Bamboo Club Polybetta. He's been the past president of the Karnataka Planters Association. He's a committee member of the United Planters Association of South, also known as UPASI, and is a fourth generation coffee planter of the Kogilahalla group. I'm just going to read out the message as is, based on what he sent. He says, "Ladies and gentlemen, 10X School in Mysore. You must be wondering why the name 10X. 10X, in my opinion, is going to be 10 times better than its competitors. It is an initiative of the Indus Trust, headed by Lieutenant General Arjun Ray, a highly decorated soldier, and he has proved his mettle in the field of education, leading from the front the Indus International Schools. His passion and drive to sculpt students as innovators and leaders, excelling in academics, is definitely propelling children to lead India into becoming the third largest economy in the world. Interacting with the children from Indus International School at the soft launch of the 10X School in Mysuru, I was pleasantly amazed at their communication and innovative skills. At the end of a very passionate and visionary address by Lieutenant General Arjun Ray, I was convinced that the Indus Trust had produced another winner in the 10X International School in Mysuru. Ladies and gentlemen, give it a thought. Investing in your child's education at 10X is an investment for the future which cannot be measured or taken away. Thank you, and I'm sorry I couldn't be there to give you this in person this evening." So this is his message. Can we have a round of applause for him, please, because he has taken the time to send me this through his busy day. You've heard Dr. Chirag, you've heard Lieutenant General Arjun Ray, you have seen Prasiddhi interact with the Eagle, but I think it's nothing like hearing it from our own students and why 10X and how they feel about studying in the school. So we will just play a video of two of our students telling you how they feel about it.
10X is different. It gives me an IB education without any financial barriers. At 10X, I choose my learning path. I think differently.
At 10X, I don't just study. I create, I innovate, and I solve. 10X prepared me to think like an entrepreneur even before I graduated. 10X didn't just prepare me for college, it made me stand out.
We don't do slow. 10X runs on an accelerated curriculum. Less fluff and more real learning. We deep dive into concepts, solve actual problems, and stay way ahead of the curve. Changing the world? No big deal. It's literally in our curriculum. 10X pushes us to solve real-world problems, because what's the point of learning if it doesn't make an impact? 10X isn't your average school. No boring lectures, no rote learning, just cutting-edge education and future-ready skills. And a whole lot of why didn't school always go like this moments.
That was the students giving you their take on why 10X. Thank you for joining us this evening and taking out time to be here. We really appreciate it. Your presence means a lot. And this actually, makes us believe in a shared belief in the power of education and hopefully to shape a better future. And the leaders of tomorrow are definitely going to be better if we, follow this route. This is just the beginning of a movement rooted in innovation, purpose, and transformation, where clarity clearly eventually becomes courage. We're grateful for your support, and we look forward to building this future that we have envisioned at 10X together. Now, transformation is what we've spoken about all evening, but transformation also deserves some celebration. So please join us after this for some dinner, and if you want to have any conversation further with our principal, Dr. Chirag Jala, he's right here. Prasiddhi is right here for those of you, like I said, who would like to interact with the Eagle one-on-one. So please unwind, connect with us, and co-imagine the future together, all while enjoying the rich flavors and hospitality of your Kodagu. And thank you for allowing us to be here. Thank you.